In today's modern world, climate change and its effects are becoming more apparent and harder to deny. The very issue is a point of contention in politics and everyday conversations, so much so that the topic is gradually becoming a common theme in modern culture. Some creators, those who are put off by the world's seemingly ineffectual efforts to combat a global phenomenon, choose to influence ordinary readers or viewers of climate change through their works. Such forms of media are under the genre of climate fiction, or better known as cli-fi. Cli-fi seeks to use the impending consequences of unchecked global warming to drive their plots and deliver messages about climate change. For instance, common examples of works considered to be part of climate change include Pixar's WALL-E, where a robot is tasked with cleaning up Earth's entire trash left behind. Or, one may consider Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, where climate change has caused global crop shortages and mankind needs to look to the stars to save themselves. But today, we are going to talk about Elysium, a movie about a class struggle between the rich and the poor in the context of environmental disaster and climate change. The film starts out with a look at the setting, where Earth, in the late 21st century, becomes overpopulated and polluted. Here, we see an obvious climate fiction convention, an apocalyptic setting. Most people on Earth live in cramped and dirty communities, and everyone is in poverty. People are fighting over the scarce resources still left, which showcases how desperate the situation and the people are getting. Survival and living to see the next day are all anyone thinks about. Conversely, the rich and wealthy reside in a self-sustaining lush paradise situated on an orbiting satellite called Elysium. There, they have access to exclusive medbays that are able to cure any disease or ailment. However, because the only supply of medbays reside in Elysium, those who need it on Earth are unable to access them. This brings us to another convention of climate fiction, human selfishness. When the rich and powerful first knew that Earth couldn't be saved, instead of pooling their resources and money for the betterment of mankind, they selfishly made a separate satellite, basically a separate world, where they can pretend what is happening down on Earth does not exist. The main character is Max da Costa, a common laborer in a very overcrowded LA who is exposed to a lethal dose of radiation due to his supervisor's negligence. He is given 5 days to live before organ failure sets in, and since he isn't a citizen of Elysium in the satellite's computer system, his easily curable condition is ignored. As one can see, the residents of Elysium hoard great technology like the medbay for their own personal use, knowing that people like Max are suffering needlessly without it. Instead of actively alleviating and improving the condition of the people and reversing the apocalyptic setting, Elysium's leaders' refusal to offer humanitarian support only serves to increase suffering and worsen the situation back on Earth. The last convention to be talked about is the salvation of the people of Earth. Max's desperate circumstance sets in motion a series of events involving him joining with dissidents who feel that the amenities offered by Elysium, especially the medbays, should be accessible to all. Eventually, Max overcomes the barriers put by the authorities to prevent people like him from ever reaching Elysium, and he sacrifices himself to upload a virus that makes everyone on Earth a citizen of Elysium, thus allowing the medbays to be transported to Earth. While Max lived his previous days as another one of the billions of destitute and poor people of Earth, the circumstances and events that he has experienced and overcame ultimately show him as a good man. His desire to help and sacrifice his life for the greater good contrasts the ugly selfishness demonstrated by the people of Elysium. Max's dedication for a cause greater than himself shows that even when humanity is at its darkest, Even when most people are desperate and it seems like all decency is forever done away with, human goodness will always prevail, inspiring others to do the same.